Hey guys, we're here to bring you another episode of the Gorilla KHODcast. It's been a while, and while this show was on a bit of a hiatus compared to the other shows, we've decided to bring things back, but this time on Twitch rather than Discord. And much to my chagrin and to Hate's victory. But yeah, today on the show, it's just me and Hate. We weren't able to get a lot of the people together, a little bit of last minute notice. So, but we're still going to go through with the show. But this time around, with the podcast back on the air, we're going to change up the format of the podcast to make things a little bit less streamlined and less repetitive. Some of the feedback we got before was the fact that we were repeating a lot of the stuff we've done previously in the month. That's why it's kind of just like a summary, it felt like a lot of the time. So a lot of people really didn't like the format of the show. That's kind of the feedback we were getting, right?
Yeah, I mean, we did say a lot of the same stuff, so we wanted to make this show
Yeah.
unique and where you just don't feel
Yeah.
like you're just hearing basically the
Yeah.
long version of our character reviews.
And what I actually want to turn this show into is basically it's like more of a feature to like our patrons and the people who help keep us basically keep the lights on, right? So we're gonna shake things up by changing up the format, starting with patron shout outs and ending with the questions like we've did in the past. But we're gonna cut through like the actual content because a lot of the content will be covered in other segments throughout the month. So we'll just gloss over things that either we haven't spoken about yet or that feel like they need a little bit more mention or more attention because maybe we're really peeved about like say Wonder Girl or like let's say it was the Deathstroke era again for whatever reason, right? So those are things that we're going to be looking at, and it's just going to be more organic, at least I hope, right? So
And
we'll
we
see.
can talk about Olay gems too. Did you I didn't even see, was that on your list of
The what gems?
the Olay gems?
I have no idea what that is. What is that?
Wow. So you've been missing out for a shop talk guy. Um,
Oh.
on the offer wall, they had the 3x purchase,
Oh,
and I
okay.
actually took part this time. I missed it last time because they did the four time,
All
and
right, so tell me what that's about.
you can
Yeah.
basically spend $40 on Olay products and get like 80,000 gems.
Seriously?
Yeah, and there was a bunch of them. I mean, look at my gem count. Most of that's from Olay. So
So what you're saying is I go I think Joshua guys how smooth is your skin. That's good. I like that. Um but yeah, I mean at this point, that's interesting. So I wonder how that works with Canadians though, right? Does it
you
I mean
can't actually.
well then there you go. It doesn't even apply to
Yeah,
me.
it's a US thing only, which is a big point of contention for a lot of people because if you're on Android, you can play games and get
Okay.
like 100,000 gems for just playing a stupid game and spending like $1 in the game, which
Jeez.
iOS users can't do. But
Okay.
then with iOS does at least, if you're in the US, you can take advantage during these events. I mean, I bought so many that my account got banned, so temporarily because it was unusual activity according to them. So.
Where you just too much lotion in too many
Yeah,
lotion purchases in one day. What are you doing, Hate?
yeah, it's but it I mean it was yeah, Joshua was saying there 40,000 gems for 849 to buy a LifeLock. I did a charity donation for 1999
Hmm.
and I got like 28,000 gems or something crazy.
That's pretty good.
I mean,
I
and I
mean,
did like four of them, so
the fact that you're actually getting tangible products and you're getting paid back for it is actually decent too. I mean, there's really no loss as long if especially if you're using the products, right?
yeah.
So you have the misses at home and they can make use of that. So
Yeah, I mean, I'll
there you
give them
go.
to somebody.
Right? Okay, exactly. That's actually something I did not know of. So I mean also the fact that it wasn't available to me. But Canucks getting shafted. What's new, right? So um, let's see here. So before we dive into some of the actual topics for the month, like I said, I want to actually start the podcast off with shout outs. So because we were on a break for a couple of months, we actually have a little bit of a backlog. So starting with the furthest to the most recent, I'll give a shout out to Rundown 015 at the Clark Kent level, who became a patron, and then Protensis at the Zatanna level. Nemesis the Last Prime at our Lex Luthor level. So he's the second Lex Luthor that we have right now. Then we actually no, the fourth. So actually we have 4 out of 5 Lex Luthor. There's one left. So whoever wants to be another Lex Luthor, there's still that slot out there for you. There's the main hobo who's at the Jimmy Olsen level, Jacob G at the Jimmy Olsen level, Armadin R, Jimmy Olsen level. He repledged, so he was there for a while, left and came back. So we appreciate the comeback. And David W, who is now also another Jimmy Olsen level patron. So for all you guys who have become new patrons to the show, please reach out on Patreon and Discord, and we'll get you set up with your roles and perks. And that being said, I probably have to reorganize things in terms of perks and goals because going forward, if we do a lot more things on Twitch, I think we're going to have to start doing things like maybe what does Twitch have? It's you have like the what's the word here? It's like roles for Twitch too, right? You can actually give people like mod access or something like that. I can't remember what
I'm
it's
not
called.
that big into the Twitch thing. This is the first stream I've done in like 2 months, so
Okay, I mean, I'm sure there's something that we can give people, like give patrons access to when they're like on our stream. So that's another thing. And the other thing that I'll mention is that do you remember when we set up the Patreon page, we actually set out like goals at like different dollar amounts?
yeah.
We've actually achieved our highest goal. Did you
Yeah,
know that?
well, the boy has said that to me quite a few times, and
Yeah. So we
uh,
actually have to set a new goal.
well, yeah, but the regular streaming, I just can't do all the time.
Yeah.
It's never gonna happen. So
Yeah,
we got
we
to
gotta
come.
probably we gotta rework this, figure out what to do. We might have to like involve merchandise instead because of our scheduling.
We'll figure
So
something out. But
yeah, we'll figure something out. But we'll try and work it over the holidays. And then yeah, but that being said, actually, it's a good thing to mention that are gonna have another little bit of a break because of the holidays coming up. So probably nothing for December at the end of the month, but most likely January or February we're gonna have something there, and that'll give us time to work on the perks and what we're gonna do with our goals going forward. That being said, we would also like to hear from any of you guys if you have any suggestions on what we can do with our goals and how to, give back to our community too, because you guys are what we're here for. You're the reason why we can keep the lights on, and keep this going for how many years now? Like this is our second, third year.
3 years, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean overall, yeah, it's been at least 3 years for the two groups, and then merged into one. It's been two, right? So it's a good long time. So. Yeah, so that without that out of the way, let's talk about some things. So between the last time we had the podcast, so between like end of August till now, there's a lot of characters that have been released. Any thoughts on certain characters released so far, like sort of like props and slops type of thing?
Recently, I would say the biggest addition to the game, one that caused the most contention was Azrael.
Yep.
He was, the king of them all. There's been a lot of kind of duds and then kind of like middle tier characters. This month I'm really liking Grodd, another
Yep.
green stunner that I did not want to
Yep.
like, but
Mhm.
I don't think I think he's good. He's not great. But he's fun. This
All right.
team I have on Twitch right now, it's uh, Kage actually came up with this one is Brainiac, Artemis, Grodd, and Spectre. And it's
Yep.
surprisingly fun. Like just a really solid, fun team.
There's a lot of ramping, and they're pretty fast. They protect each other. You just don't have a leader there, right? Actually, wait, Brainiac is the
Yeah,
leader. Never mind.
Brainiac's the leader.
Never mind. Yeah,
So
that's a pretty good.
so it's fun. I just like this team overall just because it's different. Spectre doesn't work in a whole lot of teams, but it makes it a good team.
Right.
This month I really, really, really like the way Red Tornado looks. So
He looks cool.
and
Yep.
then we have Burger's been showing some teams with him and he just he looks like he's gonna be a really fun, interesting character.
How high does Burger have him
He has him
already?
RB1 already.
Jesus.
So,
Like there's a guy out there. I see him from time to time on my PvP list. His name is Red Tornado. I'm wondering if he dove
he
in
hasn't
yet.
really been playing much, but I messaged him the other day and he told me he's definitely gonna get back into the game and play with him
Yeah, of
just
course.
because. So
Right. Oh man. But Well, I mean, let's go back a little bit to what you were saying about Azrael, right? So I agree with you, obviously, that he is probably the most controversial character in the last little bit, for better or for worse. So I feel like it's black or white with him. There's no gray at all. So it's either you love him or you hate him. So I'm guessing like 90% of the owls are in the love camp. Is that right?
Nah, a lot of people, actually, there's a growing number of owls that are thinking that he's slightly broken.
He's he's like ridiculously broken. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm put him on level of like he's maybe a better Arcus, and that's saying a lot. And he competes
M4
with
just posted
Arcus
in chat, Tootie was right. Because Tootie
yeah,
Tron went on
right,
a campaign against him early,
right,
like at the very beginning.
right. But I mean, like, let's put it this way: like, he's competing with Arcus in against Arcus in a tier. Sorry, in a what's the word here? Affinity, a low or a disadvantageous affinity. That's how. And so
Yeah.
I've had him wreck my green teams, like all green team.
Oh yeah. If he gets a chance to ramp, he will absolutely destroy everything.
Yeah. I think that the biggest thing that I hate about him is the fact that a lot of my teams are debuff based, and when he gets that debuff immunity from time to time, it just wrecks me.
Yeah, the debuff immunity. I think that was, if he didn't have that, I think he'd be perfectly balanced. With that,
Yeah,
he's just a little over
exactly.
the line, and that's,
Like,
I mean, the game they intentionally make these OP characters because they want you to buy them, gear them up, and then buy the next counter to that character. But it is so imbalanced. Where I mean,
yeah,
he's just like, I mean, there really is no reason not to break
yeah.
him.
I would probably even accept it if they just kept the immunity there, but then they dropped the percentage chance of him getting it, right? Like to make it like, reasonable. Like he gets it like way like if you get one or two, that's fine. But he stacks them up, you just can't purge them off anymore at all.
Yeah,
So that's just another big problem. But yeah, I mean, I think his design is cool. I mean, he kind of makes sense for what he's supposed to be doing. But I feel like, I mean, as a Batman villain, I don't know. I mean, what have we had someone at this level before? Like, and anyone that we really, I guess Deathstroke, right? But that's about it. But
yeah. I mean, I mean, he doesn't let you punch up like Deathstroke did, which is the difference.
right, right.
But I'm facing a team right now where Azrael got. I wasn't able to kill Cersei, so
I can see
Azrael.
him. I can
Yeah.
see it. Just get.
Now we're gonna see if he takes over.
Yep.
Most of my teams
He,
I don't
he
like
he's
basically
got
survive
damage
him.
immunity.
Yeah,
He's. Oh, now you have a chance to take him out, and then we have to kill Cersei.
yeah.
Okay, there we
But
go.
I mean, I'm getting used to him, but it's just one of those things. If you can't deal with him, he gets out of control. Like
Right.
Arcus. I mean, and most of the teams I've seen now have Arcus. They have Azrael, and then they have some fast leader. That tends to be the majority of teams now. I'm getting a lot of
Yeah.
lower teams on my board, which is surprising today. Night
Well,
Owl,
I
or
mean,
Grandpa Owl, it's good to see you. Thank you for stopping by.
thanks for stopping by. Have a good one. So let's go to that other point you were talking about, Grodd. How you were saying that you didn't want to like him, but you do. Now, I put in my notes, Grodd is good with two Ds. So
Yeah.
I think that like I'm really excited about Grodd because they make him all special damage, of course. So that's why. But at the same time, he ramps like crazy, and he ramps everybody. So he's like when you get going with a stun team, he just really goes off, right?
That if he was red, he would be the perfect fit for all of my teams.
Yeah. But I think it wouldn't be a fit for his character though, because unless he was just all about actually they would have to take him away
Or
from
blue.
special
Even
damage.
blue would even be my favorite
Blue
because
blue would blue
Mystic
would
would
make some
work
sense.
actually.
Yeah, blue would work. Yeah, because he's a psychic monkey, right? But at the same time, like red, I would see the argument because he's a giant gorilla, but where does the psychic element fall in, right? And then if they made him all regular damage instead of special damage, that would work then. But anyways, it is what it is. And how do you feel about his costume? I think it's pretty cool.
I love the
His
new
new
one.
yeah,
Yeah,
his new skin. I like it.
the one from
It's
Raids.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to come back around in the regular shop to get it. I didn't push for it. So, wait, was it a push one or was that the purchased one? I can't remember.
I don't remember offhand.
I mean, I guess. Anyways, well, while we're on the topic, what do you think of these raids then? Since we're talking about raids.
I last raid. I mean, we got up to 2.6 billion, and it was really, really painful. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. The raids. I'm getting to a point now where raids are really like I'm struggling in them lately.
Yeah, like we in the JLR, we were like comfortably getting like top 50 for a while until I mean it's partially our fault because we've got some inactive people, but at the same time, I feel like other groups are ramping up like crazy, and we're really like we didn't make top 50 twice in a row, and it was rough. So I don't know what's going on now. I mean, people are more active, which is great for the game, but at the same time, I feel like the raids aren't really changing. So I'm really wondering what's going on, you know?
I think the overall staleness of the game is starting to take hold a little bit. Like we really need something new. I kind of was
Yeah.
hoping that we'd get like an end of the year surprise, and we may still. But I'm kind of starting to think, well, they're not going to drop something right before the end of the holidays. I can't remember when did they drop to Gear 11? Like what was the Gear 11?
Um, Gear 11, that was 3 years ago now?
Was it 3? I thought it was 2.
2 years ago? Yeah, I think it was around the time when we actually merged. So that probably is 2 years ago at this
Maybe it was
point.
3 years then. I
I
don't know.
don't
Somebody
know.
in chat never remember when Gear 11 dropped. Was it
It's
2
right
years
around
or
the,
3 years?
it was after Deathstroke, right?
Yeah, it was after Deathstroke.
Mm, and it was before Wonder Girl. I think it must have been 2 years.
It was over
Two-ish
2,
years.
yeah. But
Over two, less than
I
three,
want to say it was
probably.
like November that they dropped it. So I'm thinking if we don't get anything by March of next year, it's kind of my timeline because the last big thing they worked on was Tapjoy, which is kind of lame,
Yeah,
but um, it was still something. And
yeah.
then we yeah, I can't think of anything that would be.
You know, I mean, I think when it comes down to it, um, they really have to shake things up to keep the veterans here. I mean, we're getting a lot of new people into the game, but that's a ticking time bomb too, right? Because those people are just going to get to our point, eventually as well. So, I mean, they need to keep things fresh, not just for us, but for everything, like in for the longevity of the game. And I feel like I do understand the size of the team. I do understand like the situation that we're into because of the pandemic. How I'm guessing things aren't that easy when you're not in the office together anymore because everyone's working from home, right?
Wow.
So,
Okay, M4 just posted in chat. We got Gear 11 in 2017,
geez.
September. So it was 3 years,
So three
over three
years.
years.
Okay. Well then.
Whew. Wow.
So do we want a Gear 12? That's the other question though. For example.
I I'd take it if it came with content. I don't want. I mean, by
Yeah.
itself, absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
I
it
would
came
take
with
chapter nine and
content,
10. Yeah, I would take chapter 9, 10 plus Gear 12, for example. Would you like that?
yeah, and even it doesn't even necessarily have to be Gear 12. They could do another way to advance your characters with a
Sure.
new game mode. Like they did that anniversary event, which everybody was like, it's really. I mean, when you think about it, basically anything new. Yeah, I'm fourth right.
Oh,
We'll take
by the
anything
way,
new.
don't get me started on that. So that anniversary event, it wasn't until the third day that someone told me that you could keep repeating it. So I was like, what?
Oh,
Like,
that sucks.
so I lost a day.
Yeah, those were really good rewards.
Yeah, it was insane. And I was like, oh, okay. I just crunched it out. I'm like, oh, whoops. Yeah. So no one told me that until, yeah. And then I kind of like, I'm the leader of my alliance, and my alliance didn't like chime in until like 2 days later. But anyways, um, what else was there? Um, the fact, oh, here, there was another thing to talk about the raids, though. The fact that we still had no break for Thanksgiving, but we're getting one for Christmas. What do you think about that?
Actually thrilled because I wanted a day off
Okay.
or a week off. I'm done. I can't do raids again this month, and this is gonna be a busy month. We got
Oh,
family
no, no.
fun.
I mean, but in general, like, we didn't have one break for Thanksgiving. Most people wanted that,
Oh well,
though,
yeah,
right?
I would have preferred it. It ended up being okay.
Yeah. But
But
what do you think about the timing of raids? Why don't they just shake things up, and they don't actually have to follow the same mold all the time? They could put raids at the beginning of the month, for example. Like a lot
no,
of
I think they should keep. I like it being consistent because you kind of know when it's gonna be. I don't want raids just coming out of nowhere.
That's
Like,
fair.
especially because I mean it's 4 days of your life that is gone as an owl. So you you really kind of know when it is. So you can kind of plan, not to be crazy. If you have things you can take care of beforehand or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
Historic says, shake things up and remove a day. I agree with that 100%. That
Yeah, it
would be
doesn't need to
wonderful.
be 4 days long, right? So it can just be a weekend. Like it can be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, though, raids is still a lot of the same, and I feel like this game is a lot of the same, right?
Yeah.
That's where we're headed. So we keep like beating that dead horse, but there really isn't anything else to do.
Well, that
So
anniversary event was a great thing they could have built off
yeah.
of. I mean, that's
Mhm.
where you make a new event that's super hard, have it kind of themed like that, and then you could take that anniversary event and basically make a new way to move up, a new type of, character advancement, and then that's your Gear 12 without actually making Gear 12.
Right.
So they could do it that way, and I think that'd be more palatable to a lot of people. And then you could have they could add a new PvP zone for people with the characters
Yeah.
that have that, upgrade,
Yeah.
whatever it is, something like that. There's the ways they could do it, and that would be minimal effort. Like, I mean, I know basically the best we can hope for is, to have kind of laziness on their side,
Hmm.
a lazy event,
Yeah.
and I think that's the way to do it.
Do you know what one of my alliance members had mentioned from a very, very long time ago? Now he doesn't really play with us anymore. You remember Duloth, right?
Yeah.
So Duloth, one of his best suggestions, which is really not like new content, but it would be something that uh, it doesn't really add content to the game, but it would make it more interesting just to play around with stuff. We'd be basically to create like a war room or create like a simulator where you can like put your team up against like other people's like characters for like no prize, just for the sake of trying out teams, right?
Yeah.
And just for seeing like let's try this wonky team against like Kage's wonky team, for example. You just submit like teams and then they just battle each other. But it could even be on like auto, like for whatever reason. You just want to see what happens, right? And that's not necessarily like creating any new content at all. It's just creating another room for you to go into in battle, right?
Yeah, I'd be down
At,
for that. I mean,
with like no entry cost, like basically it's just for the sake of like, what if I want to see this new character in action, but I don't have him gear 11 yet,
I
right? I
mean,
want to see what he can do.
I used to be all for that, but I think that would get pretty stale pretty quick. I mean, like K Money's kind of saying, that's basically just Wraith Arena now. Because nobody cares. I mean, most of the time I don't care about Wraith Arena, so that's where I go and experiment. And
Very true. Very true. M4 is saying that people would use that as a siege simulator. That's interesting. That makes sense to me because you'd basically just see how does this team work up against like this team. And I see that makes sense.
yeah,
And then you would just go into the battle. You just go into the siege, the simulator first. Then you'd go into siege. Yeah, that makes sense. So that might not be great long term, but who knows? I mean, that's just an example of ways they can introduce new stuff without really, reinventing the wheel, right?
yeah. I mean, it'd make it somewhat interesting, I think.
I mean, I guess for the next little bit, and we've been saying this for what, 4 years now, is we just want more content on our Christmas list, right? Like on our wish list. But that being said, getting away from content, like specific like game content, is there anything you're looking forward to, sorry, for the holiday season, like in the store, for example? Any sales, like the countdown to Christmas sales,
Not
anything like that?
really, to be honest with you. I'm kind of at a point. I mean, I have a ton of gems. I'm kind of at a
Yep.
point where I don't know what I want to do for rebirth strategy and stuff. I don't know. I can't decide how much I want to do with Grodd. I'm leaning towards doing him. I kind of like Lobo.
Yeah.
He's got some new tools that make him
Yeah.
a little more interesting. I'm not really sure. I'm kind of this month. I'm kind of taking it easy, and I want to see what next month has in store for us, and then I'm probably gonna work on. I'm gonna well, see that's the other thing is I know Grodd most likely Grodd, but maybe Lobo will get the 6 day event next month,
Yeah.
and I don't know how much I want to whale on him. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping they give us some type of extra rebirth token sale or just give it to us as a holiday gift or something in the mail for lacking rebirth crystals from raids. That's the only thing I'm
That,
gonna miss about
yeah,
raids.
that's what M4 is saying too, and I understand that. So for those who are want to make sure that they get all their characters rebirthed, we need those tokens, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a couple of things where you could buy. I think it was what was it the Etrigan sale, right? The Etrigan sale a couple of months ago. Was it last? No, it was last month. Was it?
Yeah,
Was
they
it
seem to be
November? Yeah.
experimenting with some weird sales lately.
Yeah, what do you think about that one? That was an interesting one.
I mean, it gave me more rebirth tokens. I wish they would have picked anybody but Etrigan. I mean, there's a handful of characters. See, that's the thing. They make a lot of like Etrigan, and the characters that are very available, they make them more available all the
Okay.
time.
Now, did you have a podcast about that at that time
I
with
don't
any?
think we ever mentioned
Okay,
it.
I was gonna say that was actually prime for a Doombox meme,
Yeah,
but I was gonna say like this is the one time you're gonna buy Etrigan, right?
yeah, yeah. And Etrigan is he's gotten power crept. He's not nearly as good as he used to be.
Yeah,
Even Joshua's doesn't use him that much anymore, and he was
right,
like on the Etrigan train.
right. Fair enough. But I mean, at the end of the day here, what I'm just really looking forward to for the holiday season is, as many people are saying, just a break from raids, a break from like a lot of repetitiveness, so I can just kind of like go at like autopilot for the rest of the month, and then whatever the sales brings, it's kind of like a lot of the same thing for the last 4 years. So I'm hoping they'll shake things up for, the 12 days of Christmas, but I'm thinking it's going to be a lot of the same thing again, right?
Yeah, and I can't remember there ever being any characters that I was really high on.
And a lot of them are like variable packs, which I've never been a fan of from day one. Like the ones where you get like three or four different characters in them, so you don't know
Yeah,
which ones you're really getting. So that's not really cool. I mean, it's designed for new players, obviously, but anyways.
I think I'm gonna go
Um,
into Siege. I'm gonna play. I'll buy this month. I haven't bought the past couple months, but we're doing a competition in Owls where we're gonna do like we're gonna put in a pot of money, and then whoever is the first top owl gets the pot.
cool.
So that'll be
That's
fun.
cool. All right. It's kind of like it's what's the word here? It's like fantasy football,
Yeah,
but
that's kind of how we're doing it.
kind yeah. I see that. That's interesting. We might be able to start a thing with that.
Yeah, it seemed like it'd be
You
fun.
We
We
could do we could do like a fantasy football for like betting on pro players kind of thing, right? Like betting on like veterans.
Yeah, we could. That would be a fun idea. M4. Just
Hmm.
we
I think we got
we gotta
something
talk
going
about
here.
that. We gotta do
Fantasy
crush
fantasy
burgers.
DC
I thought
Legends.
I thought the owl competition was how many could get into 1500. It's true. We just had a mostly costly join. He decided he's slowing down. So
uh,
they got three of them now. I think trying
fair
to get
enough.
M4. But M4, what I was gonna say is we need to do like where we have the audience bet on players. That would be great.
Yeah.
We could
I
do.
mean that would be interesting too, and give that prize to them. That would
Yeah.
be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we
maybe.
could make it a patron thing. Like if you're a dollar or more patron, you're eligible for like a dollar bet.
I think we should open that one up to the masses. I got to
Okay, I
see if
think
there's a
we
website I could do.
we got something going here. Okay, we can work on this. But I'm wondering if there's like gambling laws around this.
Yeah, so probably. Well, it's not gambling though because it's skill based. I mean, that's how they get
Okay,
around the
that's
fantasy
true.
football. I'm gonna see if
The
there's
other
a
thing,
website you can just like
yeah.
put in for like you would for fantasy
What we
football.
what we could do is we can also do giveaways instead of like actually giving away cash. I mean, we could do gift cards or we could do like merchandise, for
Well, we would.
example.
Okay, and Hawkeye has a good point. He said everybody would bet on M4. Granted, that's most likely true, but we should do like a handicap for certain
No, I mean
players.
you would have to put odds, right? So M4 being like the king of all kings, he would have like really low odds, right? And
Yeah.
we'd give someone like super high odds if like DP decides to throw his hat in the ring, I get like 500 to 1 or something. you know. So, but yeah, I mean that's interesting. This
That'd
is
be fun.
this was actually pretty constructive. So
Yeah.
we actually have something working on. That would actually make things more interesting
I mean, that's
to
what you
keep
got to
us
do
to keep us
anywhere. Like,
involved, right? Because if we're not getting actual content to keep us interested, we have to find ways to keep ourselves interested.
well, one of the most fun things I ever did in this game was just was that stupid Azrael solo Azrael
Yeah.
matches. I mean, I had more fun doing that than I think I've had doing anything else in a long time. So
I mean, it was kind of like the reverse of your Wonder Girl thing, where you're
yeah,
showing how like it was like her plus one other any other character. Yeah, it was the reverse of that. I remember that. That was good
uh,
times too.
yeah.
I,
I actually had a lot of fun doing the Wonder Girl one too. Just doing
right?
weird stuff like that. I like doing those. Those just
Yeah.
are keeps the game interesting.
Well, let's actually take away from the game. I mean, let's step away from the game for a second. I mean, what about the end of the year for you? I mean, anything you're looking forward to for the holiday season?
Yeah, we don't really have anything too exciting going on this year.
Yeah.
I think
Like,
everybody's ready for
yeah.
2020 to just be over. That's
Yeah. Have you been looking for like anything on like in terms of Christmas sweaters? Are you into Christmas sweaters at all?
no. I'm you
There's
don't.
a lot of
Nobody in Florida wears sweaters because it's never
yeah,
cold
that
enough.
makes
So,
sense. That makes sense.
so,
There's a lot of like memes out there. Like a lot of the Christmas sweaters are becoming memey. So they're like 2020 you'll go down in history. Maybe it's COVID outside, like things like that.
yeah,
So that's all the rage here because Canada cold. We need sweaters.
yeah, absolutely. Historic has a good question. He goes, "I wonder if Wonder Girl duo can clear the board today." And Ogre said, "Nope." I think the answer is nope, unless it's Wonder Girl plus Azrael Ogre. I think that could work.
Well,
Did you?
he was answering the. Did you ever calculate the drop rates for materials?
Oh, okay.
So he was answering that one.
Oh, I think you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
Wonder
Historic has
Girl
that.
duo, I wouldn't say it's impossible these days, but there's a lot out there for her to actually compete with now because of, for example, like the all regenerating team.
Yeah.
The all regenerating team is like probably impossible, I think. Unless the other character would have to be like uh, someone that could live for a decent amount of time and just put a lot of heal immunity on everyone, like
Let,
Supergirl, maybe.
let's see if Wonder Girl and Azrael can beat this Lex team. Probably can't, but just for the hell of it.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting, but while we are waiting on the outcome of this, for anyone on Twitch right now, and anyone out there that might be listening to this in the future for Twitch, if you're watching live, feel free to ask a question. We're going to answer some questions from people in the chat, and also, of course, patrons. We didn't preview this to Patreon, so we don't actually have any prepared questions yet, but we will in the future once we get back together, get the gang back together for the podcasts. But any questions you want answered live on the air, just ask them, and we'll go through them in the time that we have before we wrap up. Probably going to wrap up in about like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, I gotta
But
get going here shortly.
yeah, any questions at all?
I'm trying to see if I can make Wonder Girl and Azrael work, but so far it hasn't. I haven't gotten a turn with Wonder Girl. Granted, this is a terrible team because Beast Boy plus CAGA is a little.
It's rough. They're really fast.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
need to get a crit here. Oh,
Yeah.
he didn't. Oh, he crit, but he didn't do enough damage.
Well, Hawkeye has a question for us. So he says, if you guys could pick a theme for next year, like 2020 was the year of the lantern, what would your picks be? Interesting. I would say, I mean, 2021, year of Superman, but I mean, I kind of feel like it's never really his year. So, being more realistic, I would like a streamlined Justice League year, like where the Justice League characters get more featured. It doesn't necessarily have to be like the main like Trinity, for example, but I'd like to see characters like, for example, Black Lantern, not Black Lantern, Black Lightning. Black Lightning and Red Tornado and those like sort of minor Justice League characters coming into the fray was giving me a lot of hope when they were coming out and when they were being announced. I would like to see a lot more of the Justice League come out that haven't already been released because there's a ton of people in the Justice League, right? Um, what do you think? Hey, what's your 20
I'm.
pick for 2021?
I mean, if I could have anything, you know, it would be really fun. Like next year, do the theme Batman Metal, the
Oh,
with Batman Who Laughs, and do all those characters and do that theme where you're fighting those. I think that'd be really fun. Just do something completely different.
yeah. Like really throw like a curveball. That's interesting. I
And I
like
want to
that.
see good reworks. I mean, we keep. I don't know why, but the reworks have just been. I mean, this month was good, but in
Yeah.
previous month we get a lot of really dumb reworks. Just
They've been very standoffish.
and they've
So
been just like I don't know characters that we've seen been reworked multiple times. I want to see. I want to see Batman CC get finally reworked.
yeah,
I'm for
that's
saying
what
that.
May's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is that is needed.
He's the
Um,
last one. The other two got reworked.
yeah.
So, wait, did all the Wonder Women were reworked yet? Did Coda get reworked?
No, we need Coda to reworked. We need
Oh wait, so
DOJ to rework.
it's just Princess of the Mascara.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, and that being said, we need more Superman. I mean, we have the other Superman, but I want more versions of Superman. I mean, I feel like the one we have right now is fine for what he does, but I want something different, like something out of the ordinary. Like, could you imagine if they did the Injustice 2 Superman, where he's like the bad guy?
That'd be fun. I mean,
That'd be interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I get excited for new characters for a while, but then like we need game modes more than we need new characters. And M4
Yeah.
has a good one. Like the one mode we don't have that every other game has is a tower style,
Yep.
gauntlet style tower challenge.
Yep.
And he's right. That is what's missing. If I think I really honestly I don't want too many new game modes, but I think that'd be awesome if they added that.
Yeah, because it's just more time in our day, right? But I would like something if they added like a brand new thing that's not just, for example, PVE content, or if, I mean, the current chapters. I mean, if
Yeah.
they added that gauntlet thing that could be worked over series of days, that you don't doesn't necessarily refresh, so you can break it down. You don't actually have to invest so much time in one day, right?
Yeah.
I definitely like that. Let's see here. Let's see. Historic said, sorry if you mentioned it and if I missed it, but if you could add something new to the game that is also achievable to the dev team, what would you add? The achievable part is the hard part. So, given the fact that we know a lot of the dev team ourselves already in terms of like chatting with them, we also know how limited they are in terms of resource and times. So we're a bit biased in terms of what we're expecting, right? But do you have an answer for that? Like, what if we know what
I mean,
is
I think the
achievable?
anniversary event just do something along those lines, which we talked about a little bit earlier
Yep.
already. Is just give us something that lets a hard mode in some new progression system because most of us that are well, I would say most of us, but all the whales have pretty much we're pretty close to done. We got.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's probably not a huge number, but the people that if you want the spenders to keep spending, you
Yeah.
need a new progression
Well,
method.
M4 actually put a really good one out there. Actually, I didn't think about that one at all. Instead of adding chapters, you just keep the chapters the same and add another mode. So
Yeah,
instead of
legendary
normal and hard,
difficulty.
yeah, yeah, legendary, just make it super hard.
And then Hawkeye has a good suggestion with Siege doing like an alliance event. So it's like golf style scoring. So everybody, you get certain whoever has the lowest score in the end wins, and it's all based on your alliance. I would love to see that. I think that's a huge thing. I would love to
So
see just a
basically,
change
how
up of
few
alliance.
tries,
Yeah,
like the fewest tries to achieve it, is the winner.
yeah. Do an alliance based PvP event.
Interesting. I like that.
That would be fantastic. That'd be so much better than raids.
Yeah, because that really rewards you for having a really maxed out roster.
Yeah, and there's very. I mean, raids kinda. But you mean you just take up the handful of characters that you need for raids, and
Yeah,
Siege are really the only two modes that
yeah.
it matters if you have a roster.
The other thing in terms of like what's viable and what's easy to like sort of not really add content to the game, but sort of fix things in the game that I wish they would do is rearrange like reward tiers for the PvP sections. So there's some parts are okay. So for example, like all the showdowns and what's the other thing called? Showdowns and challenges, I think they're called. I can't
Yeah,
remember what they're called. Yeah. So those rewards tiers are fine. Then I would like to copy that for PV for the Wraith Arena, right? But or giving lower players, giving newer players more rewards at the bottom tiers to give them like a way to catch up, right? Because you basically there's like a huge jump when you get into a certain reward bracket tier, because then all of a sudden you're punching way above your weight class, right? And you
yeah,
can't compete. So I would say like make the rewards at the lower levels more distributed or more rewarding for them too. Because I mean it's just like ones and zeros, right? At the end of the day, it's not like you're really losing anything, and you're giving those people who are stuck at the lower level something more to root for. Because there's huge jumps. Like when you get to like 5,000 to top 1,500, and then top 1,500 to top 100, right? It's huge. There's like astronomical differences in if you're thinking about like how limited those resources are, right?
yeah.
So,
Well,
alrighty. I mean, I think
yeah. I think
we're
we got
we're
to wrap it
running.
up here. I gotta get.
Yeah, we're wrapping. Yeah, we're wrapping things up here, so we don't have any other questions anyway. So, um, like we've done in the past, I'll wrap things up with just a shout out for us. So for WRL broadcast, if you haven't already, follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/WRL broadcast, as well as you can catch our podcast if you're not already listening to the podcast on SoundCloud.com /WRL broadcast, and you can also find it on iTunes, Spotify too. Are we on Spotify and Google Play Music?
I don't think we're on Spotify.
Oh, okay. Well, we're on iTunes at least.
Yeah, we
Uh,
did. I think that's one of the ones we needed to get on. We never did.
yeah. M4 wants a plug. All right. What's your plug, M4?
Well, M4 has his Twitch channel. Will be going live in an hour from now. Otherwise, we would raid him. But he streams all of Siege. So from beginning to end, it's gotten quite popular. If you want to learn how to play Siege at the highest level, watch M4. He's probably the best Siege player out there. So
You basically, if you want to see a lot of like spreadsheets and calculations, but yeah, yeah. So go join M4 stream to see the best of the best.
and it's twitch.tv/M4Y15.
There you go. And so if you want to be heroes like our other Patreons and help us keep the lights on, consider supporting us over at Patreon again. So patreon.com/WRL broadcast. Also check out our merch store, teespring.com/stores/WRL broadcast. I'm on holiday as of the 19th. So I might start working on things in the store. So maybe we'll get some Christmas themed stuff up there if I can just splice on a bunch of Santa hats to things. So yeah, we'll see. All right. So I guess with that, we'll leave it there.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody. We really appreciate it.
Hi everyone, this is Determined Langham. Thank you for listening to this episode of WROL Broadcast. Please help us out by becoming a patron and getting access to special patron-only shows. Just go to patreon.com/WROL Broadcast. We also have DC face masks at our store. Please be sure to check them out. Shh, crikey. We don't want to spook him. We've spotted that rare and elusive DPO 427.